Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Radhe Radhe Madan Mohan Madan Mohan Radhe Radhe Madan Madan Mohan That height is okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are we expecting anyone else? I in the Chalet, the other rooms, or anyone?
Yeah, there are few devotees.
There are a few more devotees. Okay, good. Maharaj is on the way, so I think he'll be here in about maybe 10-15 minutes. The point of the Chalet actually is to try and get as much devotional service compactly done in a few hours together. You find that when you come for programs, it's only for a while, and in about 2 hours the program finishes, and then during Prasadam, we speak about everything except Krishna. That happens, and then after that we have to go. So sometimes in that way, devotees may want to ask questions, they may have some doubts. Sometimes they want more association. They want to know what the atmosphere of Krishna consciousness is like. So these spiritual retreats give us an opportunity to do that. When we come together, we have uninterrupted time with devotees. And sometimes when we have a bonus, like a spiritual leader, like Maharaj who's coming through today, then we get a chance to hear his realizations. He's a good speaker, very charismatic, very jovial. He has very nice transcendental humor, and He's a person who can take very good questions and give very good answers. So he'll be here for the whole morning session up till lunchtime. And then in the evening, after you come back from the beach program, you also have the opportunity to hear him for an hour. And he will speak on the kathas of Kuranga Mahaprabhu, which is very beautiful. And then tomorrow in the morning again, we will have chance to hear Maharaj and we will have time with him. And then in the evening, he will of course go to Kuranga Center. In the evening, we will have a nice Kirtan program here. And then on Sunday morning, to wrap up the program, Maharaj will also be here to give us his darshan. So it's 3 days with Maharaj, and that's really nice. So my suggestion, devotees, is if you have questions, if you have some queries, if you have any violent objections, this is the best time to bring it up. And while we're here, take advantage of the time with devotees. If you become convinced that this way of living is the way forward, and it really makes us happy, then these retreats have met with success. We're not very concerned how many people come and how many people go. Frankly speaking, the numbers and who comes and who doesn't come, actually it's really up to Radha Gokulamita. When the deities come, they also select those who will come. And when the deities give the sanction, then we can take darshan of them. It is not that we sign up and we are here. So actually it is our great fortune we can see the deities. And it is a great misfortune when we cannot see the deities. So I want to thank the organizers, Sumit Prabhu and all the others who worked very hard to get all of you together. It is not easy to do this, especially because we had Gaur Purnima midway through the week. Some of us are still recovering from it. And before that we had His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj here, and we had an amazing ecstatic weekend. And this weekend immediately after we had Badrinath Maharaj. And if all goes well, tomorrow for a while we may also see His Holiness Dr. Vikash Maharaj. So he may also be here. So this is the way things are moving. So we're very fortunate. In April we have His Holiness Dr. Charu Maharaj. End of April coming, 29, 28, 30, 31st and 1st of May. We will be here at that time. And then sometime, I know for example in October, the last month of Kartik, the week of Diwali, for an entire week, we have His Holiness Gita Maharaj. And he'll be here with the Philippine Kirtan team. He's got an amazing, very talented team from Philippines. They sing amazing Kirtan. And they're all Filipino by birth. They sing it so beautifully. So Maharaj will be here every day for the whole Kartik, that weekend of Diwali, doing Kirtans in the center. So we're very fortunate to have so many devotees. Don't miss this opportunity. I know maybe some of you may feel that we don't have AC, but actually we have AC. We have AC Bhaktivedanta Swami. So this AC is better than that AC. That AC is of no value. And it doesn't matter, we are all mostly from India or have origins from India. What is this compared to the Indian summer? It is nothing. So we are, as long as we have Krishna consciousness, our lives will be cool. If we have AC and we don't have Prabhupada and Krishna consciousness, we'll have to be cool. So we chant for a while. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. You can all clap actually. Otherwise, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
singing so nicely.
Hare Krishna.
Am I sitting here? Can you guys move closer?
Bhakti Maharaj, and we have to do it with 3 very loud Hari Bols, okay? It has to be loud. The purpose of the retreat is to take association, to gather as much devotees as possible. But because it's a retreat, we also can't have a spillage of devotees. Then the idea of getting some personal association, answering questions, getting doubts eradicated will not be possible. It will become another Saturday feast program. So that's why we have gathered everyone at a certain number and we have kept it there. And the important thing today is we have with us the association of Maharaj. Some of you may or may not have had the chance or the opportunity to meet Maharaj. This is the first time for you, then it's a good way for me to start by introducing Maharaj. His Holiness Bhadrinay Maharaj is a disciple of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He's a senior spiritual leader in our Krishna consciousness movement. He's also a member of the governing board that oversees all the governance of the society, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness all over the world. Despite Maharaj having so many of these governing responsibilities, Maharaj has taken sannyas so that he can travel the world, give association, and most importantly, give them Krishna. Maharaj is an amazing speaker. For those of us who have heard him before, we know how much we wanted him to come again. He's very inspiring and he is always ready to take questions, and that's what we want also. We want questions, we want objections, we want disagreements, anything that you have in your heart. So that they won't throw it on me, Maharaj. Yeah. The best person to answer it is probably Maharaj. Personally, I have taken great inspiration from Maharaj, and I find that whenever I have something that is troubling my heart in relation to Krishna consciousness, if I send Maharaj a query, despite his busy, hectic schedule, I always get good guidance. So thank you, Maharaj, for joining us. So today's program, we'll start now and we can go on till about 12:30 with a break in between. It's up to about lunchtime. Hare Krishna.
You know, Hare Krishna. Devakinandana Prabhu was talking about my traveling around the world to give association. But actually, I'm a very self-centered person. And the real reason, or self-calculating would be more accurate, that I get a chance to get association. So I'm feeling very fortunate. I know who's getting the better of the deal. You're getting my association, but I'm getting your association. And trust me, I'm the better for the bargain, no question about it. Thank you for hosting me. And I was thinking of a number of topics. I mean, frankly, I've just come from our annual general meeting of our governing body and temple presidents, and you know, we oversee, in fact, Krishna consciousness, ISKCON movement, is growing so quickly, we don't actually know how many temples we have. We have the last registration, because there is an office that keeps track of temple locations, who's in charge, all that stuff, contact information, some description of the center. We were at over 1,000, and that was in October of 2015. So I just found out that we have 34, that's 34, full-size Ratha Yatras in the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union. 34! You know, just as a sidelight, Prabhupada went to Moscow in 74, 73, something like that, you know, in the winter time. Freezing place. Prabhupada said that they say in Christian theology that hell is hot, Prabhupada said, I say it's cold. He didn't like cold weather, he didn't like it. He liked Singapore, he liked nice warm weather, So, went to Moscow in the winter, and in those days, you couldn't just go. You had to go on a government tour, If you had a business visa and you were there for an express business purpose, you could go do your business and leave. But you couldn't just go to the country and do what you wanted, look around. No. You had to be on a government tour. So they took Prabhupada. He had to go with a government minder, with somebody from the KGB right there. They took Prabhupada on a tour of the Kremlin, the center of the city of Moscow. And, St. Basil's is there, all the different things are there. But there's also Lenin's tomb. And there's a huge line in those days, everyone to get the darshan of Lenin's embalmed body. So it was like, if you're Muslim, to go to Mecca, everyone's got to be Haji. So if you were a bona fide communist, you had to go at least once in your life and see Lenin's tomb and see his embalmed body there, which 90% is now wax. So there was a long, long line of people lined up at Lenin's tomb. So Prabhupada didn't know what was. Prabhupada said, "What is this?" And they said, "Prabhupada, they're all lined up to see Lenin's body in his tomb." Prabhupada asked, "Do you know why they're going?" Devotee said, "No." Prabhupada said, "To make sure he's dead." Because it was such a horrible place, People were nice, but the government was just horrible government and so oppressed. They had in those days, they had huge grocery stores. Because we had our devotees secretly in there. They had these huge supermarkets. So many aisles. You know what they sold? 15 aisles of cigarettes. Another 20 rows of different types of alcohol and vodka. And then the last rows were all different kinds of canned meat products. So it was a full store. 3 things: cigarette, vodka, and meat. Nothing. You couldn't get fruits, vegetables, rice, anything else, But now, by the grace of... Prabhupada said this won't last. When Prabhupada was there, Prabhupada's analysis, the American CIA with the best and the brightest, making all their calculations and satellites and whatever was U-2 flyovers and all this stuff. Oh, the Russian bear is going to come and crush everyone. Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada said, no, this won't last. He said, the people are very, very nice. He said, but the whole system is corrupt. He said, it will collapse. Prabhupada predicted it. And whatever it was, 15, 20 years later, whole thing collapsed, and Lenin's, who knows where Lenin is? He's probably rolling in the gutter in Calcutta playing a harmonica. Who knows where he is? But the 34 Rath Yatras in the former Soviet Union, it's an amazing thing. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So I thought to be, hey Adi, how are you? It's my old friend. He's a nice boy. Hi, boy, Adi, how are you? Nice to see you. So I'm a little tired. I apologize for that. It's a little, flying is sort of like being shot out of a cannon. It's not really. I was in a darshan one time with Srila Prabhupada. We'll get to the subject matter, but it's all right. I was in a darshan with Srila Prabhupada, and he was saying that, like one man kept saying, we're making such advancement, we're so advanced, we're making so much advancement. Prabhupada said, your advancement is like the moth into the flames. Fine, you're making progress, but in what direction? What is the fruit? What is the social climate? What is the family life? What is the internal happiness? Oh, you're advancing. The moth is advancing, but right into the flames, So, Prabhupada said, whatever you're chasing after is already understood in the Vedic knowledge. It's already in the Vedas. Veda means to know. Everything's in the Vedic literature. And Prabhupada said, so they already understood all the mechanical, Yantra Veda, all the different mechanical science. They knew all of that. And they were looking for something higher, beyond, Artha Kama, Moksha. What is it? I've forgotten. what is it? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And then, you know, so they have, but what's actually beyond moksha? So, Prabhupada said to this, so it was a newspaper reporter, and he said, well, if everything is known in the Vedic literature, Prabhupada said, just like this airplane, he was in an airport. So Prabhupada said, just like this airplane, in the Vedas, there's 3 ways that you can fly. Yeah, 3 ways. One way is you can chant a mantra. And Prabhupada said, I'm just repeating, Prabhupada said, you can chant mantras and 1,000 birds will come and carry you. I mean, you won't get frequent flyer miles and you might, I don't know what condition you'll arrive in, but, you know, Prabhupada said, that's one way you can fly. Prabhupada said, you can chant another mantra and anything will fly. You can make, you know, you read in the Vedas, flying cities, flying so many things, flying carpets, fly whatever, you can make it fly. Prabhupada said, or you can take these demonic airplanes. I mean, they crash, they're full of bad smells, and, you know, they're not, you know, it's not really very high class. So the man said, and how did you come? Why did you come in an airplane if there's these other ways? Prabhupada said, just to be one with you. So, I mean, everything is known in the Vedas. But they, just like only the king lived in a big house. He needed it for his prestige, to exert his power and control. You know, he had a business and he had to protect. So the king had a big house. Temple was a nice big house. Everybody else, what do I need a big house for? You know, what do I need this, you know, big... In America, every house, if it's not a duplex or, you know, whatever it is, if it's an independent house, even they all have a fence around it, has a big sign, says, beware of dog. You know? And now they have a sign that says, don't worry about dog, beware of owner. I saw that sign the other day. So, they have their idea of how to advance and what the goal of advancement is. And I'm warming up to the theme, don't worry. But the tendency of the human being to accumulate, to acquire, to increase is instinctive. And it's not a bad thing. This is why we like him sound asleep. He's a good boy. Just like kama or lust is an entangling, dangerous thing, like iron. The same thing transposed is gold or prema. It's a good thing. So it depends on how it's refracted through the material nature, whether it's kama or prema, whether it's lust or pure love of God. So this tendency to acquire, to increase one's condition, now it's accumulating stuff. Everybody accumulates stuff, so much stuff. I saw another bumper sticker. It said, the one who dies with the most toys wins. The one who dies with the most toys wins. I remember thinking, the one who dies with the most toys still dies, you know? The toys go to all the dimwit relatives. They inherit it. But who knows where you went? Shouldn't you ask that question, you know? But our consciousness determines happiness. There is a fundamental misconception. And Krishna nails it in Bhagavad Gita. You know, by titillating the senses, the body is called a city of 9 gates. 2 eyes, 2 nose. You can do the math. It's 9 gates. And the queen is the intelligence and the soul is the king. Or Prabhupada used another example. Prabhupada used the example of, so we should think of it like there's Kshetra and Kshetragya. There's the field, there's body and its senses and whatever we're experiencing. And then there's the knower of the field. You know, there's the farmer who tills and puts the seeds, and then there's the product. So there's the living entity and the field of activities, and the fruit is the karma that comes from that. So Well, I guess I'll say it this way. In the West, bye-bye, Adi. In the West, they're very proud of their explorers. When I was a kid in school, Christopher Columbus was it 1492. Columbus sailed the ocean blue. There's Magellan, the first to circumnavigate the world. There's so many different, Vasco da Gama, there's so many explorers, you know. And they have their scientists also. They have their Einsteins and Newtons and all this stuff. And fine. They're exploring the external world. But there's an internal world. And the great sages of Vedic tradition, they were explorers and reporters on the world of consciousness, the internal world. What is it Descartes says? I think, therefore I am. All of us have this instinctive experience. There's an external world. Vedas nail it. Vedas say there's the seer, there's the seen, and the act of seeing. Seer, seen, act of seeing. We all experience that we are different. There's the external world and we have an internal world. Now the internal world, which the majority of Western tradition ignores, is actually the determinator of happiness. Let's take a common denominator. Anybody in here not want to be happy? We have any closet masochists who want to? It's an Oprah moment. You can out yourself that you. I mean, everybody wants to become happy. Even a small ant is crawling along. You put your finger, it goes in the other direction. It hears, oh, there's sugar in the kitchen. Immediately, it makes a. So every living anamoya, pranamoya, jnanamoya, vijnanamoya. There's all different stages of happiness. Everyone, according to their level of consciousness, is seeking happiness. That's a common denominator we'll all accept. All right, let's see what determines happiness. And frankly, it is not stuff. It is not the contact of the senses with their sense objects. Prabhupada makes a simple example. In the cold weather, you don't like cold water. Take a cold shower, bathe in a well, like nobody, what is that? Summertime, cold water, thank heaven. The water is the same temperature, but according to the conditions you experience as happiness or distress. Chanakya Pandit, you know Chanakya Pandit? Chanakya? He gives a simple example that a tiger, when a tiger sees a beautiful woman, it works the same way, or a handsome man. When the tiger or tigress sees a handsome man or a handsome woman, what does the tiger think? Oh, I like your hair, I like your glasses. What does the tiger think? Huh? Tasty snack item, isn't it? Just like if we saw a big samosa walk by, hey, come on in here. Connect.
East, west, west.
Acha. Thank you. So, just like India. Thank you.
I think we need another. This one is dying.
Slow death. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, now it comes back to life. It's a great world, isn't it? So, a tiger sees a beautiful woman, a beautiful man, and thinks, tasty snack item, isn't it? Now, if I was a lusty materialist, I see some beautiful woman, she doesn't have a bindi, so I think, oh, she's single. It's a Hindu stop sign. They see that bindi, no. You know, it's good, it's a good culture, you know. Move on, you know. This spot's reserved, move on, you know. That's good, it's nice. So she doesn't have a bindi, I walk out, hey, haven't I seen you before? You know, whatever. I think you're some beautiful woman to exploit, you know. And what does Krishna say in Gita? For a sadhu, pandita samadarshanaha. He sees, oh, there's the body, but we had so many bodies, but inside is the eternal soul, and that's the real person. So the eyes are the external experience is the same. You with me? But according to the perceiver, the consciousness of the perceiver, it's a whole different experience. The physical experience is the same, but consciousness determines how it's seen. You with me? So in the same fashion, frankly, I mean, you see kids. Sometimes, I mean, they're having the most fun. They find an old tire and they hang it from a branch of a tree. They're swinging. They're having so many small kids. They have a cardboard box. They're making it into a fort or whatever, whatever they're. So their happiness, it doesn't. So my point is that happiness stems from consciousness. I'll give you another example. We cannot control circumstances. Rather, we're impacted by circumstance. Whether it rains, whether somebody hits us by a car, whether we the guy next to us sneezes and we get a cold. Or I mean, there's from adi daivik, adi atmak, adi bautik. There's miseries caused by other living entities, big or small. There's miseries caused by the material nature. The earthquakes, or there's miseries caused by the devas. So many different things. We have no control over those things. But what we do have control over something. What do we have control over? How we respond to those circumstances. We may not control the circumstances, but we have full control over how we respond to circumstances. And the Vedas give an example of if you walk on a path without shoes. So all kinds of rocks and sticks, and it's a little hard to traverse sometimes, I got it. But if you put on shoes, you can travel very easily, isn't it? No problem. So the Vedas compare knowledge, genuine wisdom, I should say. They compare wisdom or knowledge to shoes that allow you to traverse the path of life very easily. So this world, what is it? Birth, death, disease, old age? I'm sorry, but it's a fact. Those are inevitable factors of this life. Birth, death, disease, old age. But how we see them, how we deal with them, that we have control over, and it should be based on knowledge. So what we're going to talk about, and human life is meant to accumulate. I was saying the materialistic person wants to accumulate stuff. I was in Bangladesh, and we have a number of temples there, Bangladesh, and I think I was getting a notepad or something, some stationary item, and there was a young man there, and he said, "Oh, Hare Krishna." I said, "How are you?" I said, "Oh, we're having a program tonight. Why don't you come?" He said, No, I can't." He said, "I have to study." And we're all for education. We're not, our sampradaya, or our lineage, there's different spiritual lineage coming from Rudra or Lord Shiva, there's from Lakshmi, there's from the four Kumars, and there's from Brahma. And we're in the Brahma sampradaya. Our lineage is famous for scholarship. We're all for education. We're not flat earthers, do-nothings, know-nothings, We have doctors, we have lawyers. You need all those lawyers. I don't know. Of course, Devaki's a lawyer. Lawyers are okay. So the point is, we need all these things. We're not anti-education. Don't misunderstand. However, I said to this student, he said, "I can't come." I said, "Why?" He said, "I have to study for a big test." So I said, "Okay, let's pursue this." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I want to get a good grade." I said, "Okay, why?" He said, "Well, I want to graduate with honors." I said, "Okay, why?" He said, "Well, I want to get into a good school." I said, "Okay, why?" He said, "Well, I want to go to America." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I want to go to Harvard or Princeton or Yale." I said, "Okay, why?" He said, "Well, because then I'll get a prestigious degree." I said, "Okay, why?" He said, "Well, then I'll get a good job." I said, "Okay, why?" He said, "Well, then I'll have money." I said, "Okay, why?" So I can get a big house. So I get married. Have a big wife, a big car, a big house, big TV, big screen. They get bigger and bigger. You got to get a bigger house just to fit your TV in. So why? So we're up to the point of the big screen and the big TV and the big house and the big wife. I said, why? He said, because then I'll be happy. I said, aha. The whole point is you're taking this circuitous route through so many different, conditions that you have to meet, and the goal is to become happy. I said, did it ever occur to you? I said, I'm coming from America. We're full of big houses, big cars, big screen TVs, big wives. We're full of it, So why am I here studying your culture? I said, shouldn't you ask that question? And the guy said, yeah, you got a point, So he did come that night by Krishna's grace. I think it's because we told him there's a nice prasadam afterwards. I think that really was what cinched the deal. Hey. Thanks, Lou. I appreciate it. So anyway, the point is that the accumulation of stuff. I saw another bumper sticker said those who say money can't buy happiness don't know where to shop. But Ambarish, Alfred Ford, he's the great-great-grandson of the original Henry Ford. And he's a member of our society. He's building the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. He's done so many wonderful things for ISKCON. He's a really nice, I've known him for 30 years. He's just a quality person. He's a very humble, nice devotee. It's a long story. I'll tell you someday how I was there when he first came to the temple. It's a nice story. But, maybe I will tell the story because we've got some time. We're going to go for a couple of days. So, I was the temple treasurer of our Detroit temple, 1972. Now, Detroit is in northern Michigan. It's freezing cold. It's where they send the Eskimos for training. It's cold. It's a cold place, The wind blows out of Lake Michigan. It's a cold place. And we had no money in those days. We really, and even now, we take care of Krishna's money very carefully, but we literally had no money in those days. So to heat the temple was expensive. It was more than food. It was our biggest expense was to heat the temple. I was the treasurer. It was $600 a month. And $600, you can do the inflation rate, 1970. It was a lot of money. And we had practically no money. So you could get storm windows. You don't even know storm windows in Singapore. It's like coals to Newcastle or ice to Eskimos. What do you need it for, But it's insulation. It's a double window, and the air inside acts as insulation. And some guy coming to sell storm windows said, you get storm windows and you can cut your bill. It'll drop, by 2/3 immediately, and it'll pay for itself in a year and a half. Okay, great. But it costs $7,000 to install them, and we don't have fine. Great idea. Give me $7,000 and I'll pay you back out of the money we saved. No, the guy wasn't on board for that. So I was giving this report. There was a young Bhakta named Bhakta Al who was coming to the temple, and he was a college student. College students don't have any money, generally speaking. So he was there. He was coming for Gita class, Bhakta Al. And he would, after Gita class, we'd take a little prasadam, and the devotees would chit-chat, and everybody would go home. So I was giving this report to our temple president. Yeah, storm windows, and here's how it works, but here's what it costs, and we would, forget that, Bhakta Al said, what are you talking about? We said, storm windows, but, we can never afford it, and this and that. And we said, Al, I said, Al, take prasadam, It's a college kid, just be happy, don't worry about it, About a week later, I'm sitting in my office, a devotee comes and gets me. There's some guy, Sam Storm Windows, and he's measuring the temple for storm windows. So, whoa. I said, wait a minute. I said, it's a free home demonstration. No problem. I said, but we're not going to be able to pay you. I said, we have no money, He said, no, it's prepaid. I said, prepaid? Let me see the bill. And it was, the order was written up, and it was about $7,000. It was deluxe model windows and this and that. And it was signed Alfred Ford. Now, Alfred Ford, the name Ford in Detroit is like saying Kennedy in Massachusetts, or I don't know who's the top businessman in here. In Hong Kong, it's Tang or whatever the guy's name, But it's just like everybody knows the name, and it's a very powerful family. So I thought, Alfred Ford? We don't know any Alfred Ford. I said, but if this dummy thinks, he's willing to take whoever told him he was Alfred Ford, I said, it's like, I'm President, Carter, or, I'm Obama, Obama, forget it, So I said, look, if we don't have to pay anything, you can put him up there, I said, no problem, So we had Gita class Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so that was the next day was the Wednesday. And I mentioned to our temple president, a very nice devotee, I said, storm windows, Alfred Ford, prepaid. What do you think? He said, well, and he was more thoughtful than me. He said, Al, do we know? He said, what about that guy, that Bhakta Al who's coming, the college student? I said, no way. I said, he's just a kid. He doesn't have any money. I said, no way, He said, ask him. I said, oh, fine, I'll ask him, but, we know what the answer is going to be. So the next night I asked him, I said, I don't want to embarrass you, put you on the spot. I said, but are you Alfred Ford? He gave me like, who wants to know, I said, no, we don't want to ask you for money. I said, I told him the story, And he said, yeah, I'm Alfred Ford. And I said, why didn't you tell us? He said, oh no. He said, no. He said, all of my life, I've never known who my friends were. He said, were they with me? Because in the summer, I could fly them all to Aspen for skiing, in Colorado. Or, we could get on the private jet and fly down to Florida in the winter. I never knew who my friends were. He said, but the devotees, he said, you devotees, you had no idea who I was, and you cared about me. He said, you're my true friends, and you actually care about me. So he was a smart guy, he was no dummy, So I was at a fundraiser with Ambrish one time. And, people say money can't buy happiness. Someone said money can't buy happiness, I forget who was speaking. And they said, in the course of their little talk, they said money can't buy happiness. And Ambrish turned to me. He was so serious. He said, people who don't have money like that saying, money can't buy happiness. Because if you don't have money and you need money to buy happiness, well then, as they say in America, you're up a creek without a paddle. You're finished, And then he said, this is what he was so serious. He said, but people who have money know that it's not true. They have money. And they know it just simply does not make you happy. It just doesn't work. They interviewed the winners of the Michigan lottery. It's a big, government lottery, and they win so much money. And they interviewed, it was Massachusetts, I'm sorry, it was the Massachusetts lottery. And it's an annual draw. They have small ones, but the big one is once a year. And they interviewed something like the last 30 winners. 72% said, I wish I'd never won the money. Can you imagine? And these are people, they won like $40 million, $70 million, whatever it was. It was a lot of money, Just U.S. dollars. I'm talking Sing dollars. U.S. dollars. And 72% said, I wish I'd never won the money. And one guy said, I lost all my friends. Everybody came at me. I had cousins I'd never seen in my life, came at me with business schemes. My wife took the money, lost a bunch of weight, got a facelift, and left me for her trainer, those stories just went on and on and on, Said all my children are spoiled, When we had no money, we all took our meals together, and, it was a family happiness. He said, now, I said, one guy said, there's only two types of people, I've learned, he said, since I won this money, there's only two types of people in the world. He said, people I pay to stay with me, and people I pay to stay away from me. Now think of what a way to, it's funny, it is kind of funny, but what a way to see the world. There's only two, there's no love, there's no friendship, there's no genuine affection or concern. You either pay him to stay with you, or you pay him to stay away. It's a long story, but we were doing fundraising. I visited one lady, because for ISKCON we have so many things to build. And I visited one lady, and her whole downstairs, there was, the entry hall or whatever it was, and then there was a big living room. It was big. So, and it was all full of little pinball and video games and stuff, all kinds. It looked like a video arcade. I said, I had to ask. I said, what's with this? She said, otherwise my children won't come see me. Can you imagine that? The children would come to see the Olympic pool, play in the pool, but they didn't come to see their mother out of affection, out of appreciation. No way. So, money cannot buy happiness. Things don't buy happiness. But the human nature to acquire, we're almost at what we're going to talk about today. Human nature to acquire. Prabhupada said, just defining the difference, man is called the rational animal. Animals eat, sleep, mate, and defend. That's their total gamut of their, perspective of their existence. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. They have some social, the ants have some social organization. They may have some chimpanzees, they may have some social organization, but it's just to further those things. You never see an ape, I wonder why I'm here. He's thinking banana, 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 banana. He's not going too much further than that, So, but rational animal means to think, who am I? Why am I here? Why have I come? So Prabhupada's example is, suppose a truck is going down or a bullock cart or whatever, and a big bag of rice falls off the back and splits open. The farmer doesn't know it, he keeps going. So the little bird will come and pick up a few grains of rice, right? And take it home. Mouse will come, take a few grains, go home. Human being will fill up one pocket, start to walk away and think, what about tomorrow? You fill up the other pocket. Say, what about next week? You'll fill up the back pocket. Think, if I go home and tell my wife, she'll say, you dummy, why didn't you bring the whole bag? Right? She's right, So he'll pick up the whole bag. He has a sense of future. He has a sense of, what am I building towards the future? So those who are perceptive, those who are aware that we're not just this body, but actually we're the eternal soul within, and that happiness does not come from material acquisition. I can't control the circumstances, but I can control how I react to certain. Let me seek out wisdom. Let that desire to accumulate, to collect, to gain, to increase, let me increase my spiritual qualities. Let me gather that, even the Bible says, that which no thief can plunder. Let me gain transcendental knowledge. That will stay with me throughout this life and, frankly, future lives. So what we're going to talk about today is one of the, I'll get there in a second. We're going to talk about humility. The quality of humility and the benefits of humility. The wisdom of humility. Now, what time is it?
10:30, Maharaj.
Okay, and we take a break at what time?
Whatever time you feel is all right.
So, no, I appreciate that. But you must have some planned structure.
11? Can we go for half an hour more? Take a break at 11?
Yeah. Because you guys have been sitting a long time. Yeah. Okay. So, in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about, here I'm quoting from Prabhupada's purport. The practice of Krishna consciousness is like a staircase, and it begins from the point of humility. I'll read that again. The practice of Krishna consciousness is like a staircase, and it begins from the point of humility. And Krishna gives in that 13th chapter a whole description of all the different qualities of knowledge. But the first step, and Prabhupada describes the precursor, the key that opens the door, the necessary prerequisite for gaining knowledge is humility. We're going to get into that for a second, but that's why I'm taking this quality of humility. If one actually wants to gain, what is this, I used to be arrogant, but now I'm perfect. hang on a minute here, you know. I don't quite follow that logic, you know. So the precursor of actually knowledge is a point of humility, and why we're going to get into. So, can anybody think you can help me out here? Why do you think we're also going to say why humility might not be a good quality? Because to become they don't have road rage in Singapore?
Yes, we do, Maharaj.
You have road rage in
yes,
Singapore?
Yes.
Oh, America, they'll take a gun and shoot you.
Over here,
it's a short conversation.
Here, the road rage is more coming out, shouting at each other.
Shouting at each other. Yeah.
Maybe hitting the windscreen or a bit of a slap.
Is it?
Punch, yeah.
So it's universal to human nature.
It is.
You know? And the main thing is you disrespected me. You cut me off. You did this. You did that. I mean, people are, especially in the age of Kali, they're like a flashpoint. You know? One man was saying to Prabhupada, you know, I'm the most this, I'm the most that. Prabhupada said, actually, sir, you're not the most anything. Please sit down. So, what are some good qualities about humility? You can avoid road rage, is one thing, you know. What's another good, anyone think of another good quality about humility? Don't be shy. There's no wrong answer. Huh? Oh, if you don't act humbly, you'll regret it. You'll do something foolish or stupid. Sure. Wait.
You start to listen to the ideas.
Yeah, you can listen to other people. What were you going to say? Okay. So it brings kind of a peaceful state. Is that what you're saying? You're all right. Anyone else? Some of the ladies think of a good quality of humility?
We cannot learn.
Are you in a sorry? I'm just joking. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate your enthusiasm. You can go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Prabhu. I'm a little tired. I apologize. I should be more humble. I apologize. This class is for me, by the way, also. I thought I would study a unique field I have little experience in, so I thought I'd study something about humility. I'm sorry, Prabhu. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that unless we are human, it's very difficult to understand and learn.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Oh, I know everything. How can you put water in a full jar? It's already, I know. Anyone else think of another good, some of the ladies? Good quality about humility? Don't be shy. Keeps you centered. Sure, otherwise you're strutting over here, strutting over there, But I love to pick on the men. Someone's going bald and they comb their hair over admit it. Just get a haircut and move on with life. Or I saw a man one time, I was at the doctor, and he was being weighed, so he didn't want to weigh so much, he sucked in his stomach. It's not going to change you. It's not going to do any good at all. So, yeah, it's a good thing. So those are some good qualities about humility. What are some of the reasons we're afraid to be humble? Sometimes people are afraid to be humble. Anyone think of some reason you're afraid to be humble? Wait, let's go one by one.
Because someone may take advantage of you.
Someone may take advantage of you, sure. Devaki?
Exploiting.
Yeah, you'll be exploited. Yeah.
Considered weak.
Say again? Oh, you're considered weak? Oh, yeah. Be a man. Stand up for you. Anyone think of another one? Another? Yeah.
People may think you're faking it.
People may think you're faking it. It's a rough world, isn't it? Even you try to be a nice guy, you're fake. It's a rough world, isn't it? Okay, anyone think of another? Yeah, in the back, yeah.
It's your personal ego, which doesn't allow you to be.
Yeah, your personal ego. Who are you to do?
Who are you?
I am great, Yeah.
We may lose opportunity because it's all competitive world. We have to prove all.
It's a competitive world, and people are going to walk all over you. Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Why? It can create, in America, it's a big thing. Low self-esteem. You know, that you'll develop a sense of inadequacy, you know, and you won't be able to take challenges. You'll just become, in like a wet noodle, and Okay, so those are some. Now I thought I would read. Oh, so first off, humility. They have a saying in America: he's humble, and he has much to be humble about. So, said the prideful man. But the fact of the matter is, what is our actual position in this world? I had a nice experience. Now, I don't know if you don't have any deserts here in Singapore. But have you ever been out where there's a mountain, or even out in the jungle where there's no lights and you can see the full night sky? You've had that experience? It's an impressive experience, isn't it? On one hand, you feel very intimate. You feel very close to the cosmos. And on the other hand, you feel really small, isn't it? So, if we just consider for a moment our place in the universe. Tamal Krishna Goswami, are any of you disciples of Tamal Krishna Maharaj?
I don't think
he's one of my heroes. He's one of the pioneers of Krishna consciousness, and so we probably had maybe 15 temples in America at the time, and the LA temple was the biggest temple. And Prabhupada made Tamal Krishna Maharaj the temple commander. I mean, there was a temple president, there was a vice president. Temple commander was kind of the day-to-day operations manager, and there's probably 25 devotees, but in those days that was considered a big deal. So Tamal Krishna said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, now you've given me this very important position. I'm now temple commander of your biggest temple in ISKCON, and I'm afraid that I'm going to become puffed up. We use this word puffed up, like a chapati, you cooked it and poof, all the hot air comes out, So we're all puffed up, but just a little pinprick, what are we? It's just all hot air, So it's Prabhupada's word, puffed up, and it comes from a chapati. So Tamal was thinking, I'll become puffed up with this very important position as temple commander. So Prabhupada, how do I protect myself against it? And Prabhupada said to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he said, you think that when Lord Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, when he breathes out, Karanadakshay Vishnu, all the universes, all creation comes. Just like when we breathe, there's so many moisture particles. So the breathing of Lord Vishnu, unlimited universes come out. So Prabhupada said, and then you think that in one of those universes, Krishna comes again as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And he fills it half full of water, lies down on Session1. From his navel, the lotus comes. And then so many planets are created. So first, unlimited universes. In one of those universes, there's Lord Brahma. He creates unlimited planets. Unlimited. We can't even count. And then on one of those planets, there's so many continents. Like on this, there's 7 continents on the planet Earth. So 7 continents. Every continent has so many countries, isn't it? So United Nations has 255 flags or whatever it is. I mean, so many countries. Every country, so many states. Every state, so many provinces or counties. Every county, so many cities, isn't it? Every city, so many blocks. Every block, so many streets. Every street, so many houses. Every house, so many rooms. So picture from the expanse of Mahavishnu, all this, finally down into one room, and then Prabhupada said in one of those rooms is Tamal Krishna Maharaj thinking, I'm very important. So if we consider our actual place in the universe, on one hand, to avoid the self-esteem, every living entity, the spirit soul, Prabhupada said, is more powerful than unlimited suns. It's luminary suns, not, And that Krishna has we are so important to Krishna that he's traveling inside everyone's heart as the super soul, Paramatma. And frankly, we've been demigods, we've been dogs, cats, bees, birds, top of Bollywood, rolling in Calcutta, playing a harmonica. We've been president, we've been it all. Indragopa, the smallest insect, And in all of those births, the Katha Upanishad compares it to a tree, the body like a tree, and in the tree there's two birds. And one bird is madly pecking at the fruit. And when he doesn't get a taste, he flies to another tree. He pecks at that looking for the fruit. But it's all bitter and no satisfaction, flying from tree to tree. We are going, the living entity, the soul, us, is going from tree to tree, body to body, trying to taste the fruit of that. And Krishna is simply traveling as the beautiful Paramatma, traveling in each body, in each tree, traveling with us, saying, don't you remember? Don't you remember me? I'm your old friend. Don't look here. This didn't work last time. It's not going to work this time. He's traveling again. What is it? Sarvashachaham Ridisani Visto Mata Smita Jnanam Apavanam Cha. Krishna's in everyone's heart, giving knowledge, remembrance, forgetfulness. So we are so important that Krishna's traveling with us, unlimited lifetimes, just trying to redeem us. So we're not talking low self-esteem, but we do have much to be humble about. I was thinking a couple other things. I don't want to scare you, but, we're strutting along. There was a man, and notice I'm using the past tense. He used to come. Yeah, something happened. Am I killing the mic? No, we're okay. I noticed something had happened. So, you want me to rewind? No. This man had a garden care service. He had a group of gardeners that, for big homes, they do all the lawns and trees and all that. And he had a whole fleet of these guys working for him. And he used to come and personally do the garden at the Laguna Beach Temple. Very nice guy, And he would come, once a week with his crew, and we had nice roses, and it's a nice garden. One day, he had a little cough. You wake up with a cough sometime. A couple days went by. His wife said, that cough, you want here's some nice lemon ginger tea or something. Cough didn't go away. I should go it was getting worse. I should go to the doctor. He went to the doctor. Turns out he had some virulent type of cancer that had gone from the bones into his lungs, and they told him, you have 6 months at most to live. And he left his body in 6 weeks. It's sobering. It is sobering. He was surrounded by devotees chanting, and but at one point, he was hale and hearty and on top of the world. A little cough. 6 weeks later, he's gone. So there was a friend of mine many years ago. He was a young boy swinging on a swing set. Swing set, we call it a swing set, whatever you call it. And he scratched himself, and there was some rust. It was a rusty screw, and he scratched himself on it. And he got tetanus. And somehow they didn't take care of it. And it got into his heart, and he died. We were all in the school, all little children. We were told to pray for him, That's one of the reasons I became an atheist. I thought, well, that didn't work. I'm trying something else, I'm going to become a doctor. I'm going to, So, we are in a very tenuous position. You can just slip, bang, you're finished, So, this Govinda Das compares our situation. A lotus leaf? A round lotus leaf is floating on the water, and they're very waxy. And you put a drop of water on it, and you just tilt it a little, and it'll roll right off. So Govinda Das says that our condition is just like that. Actually, we're in a very fragile condition. That's not meant to cause, emotional paralysis, but it's a fact. So we're so proud, I've got this, I've got that, I've done, we should be a little humble. There's a nice Guru Nanak story. You know Guru Nanak, right? Yeah, he was actually a Krishna Bhakta. And so he came to as sannyasi, they would travel and visit different places. And the tradition was, at the village, there's usually a temple and there's some mandap or something, and people gather and the sadhu speaks. So this Guru Nanak visited one village, and he was going to speak that night. So one man invited his friend. He said, I know this man, he's a saintly person, he's speaking tonight. It'll be very good, it'll be educational. Why don't you come? You'll have a good time. The guy said, I know these sadhus. He'll talk about, depend on Krishna, but he's going to ask me for something. He's going to ask for some land or a cow or, I know where this is going, I'm not going. I've been there, I'm not going. His friend said, no, this sadhu is a genuine sadhu. He's a nice person, you should come. And knowing his friend said, and afterwards they'll have nice prasadam. All right, I can sit through anything for 45 minutes, I'll go. So he went. And they have a saying that the face is the index of the mind. If you study someone's face, you can kind of at least you can understand the basic emotions that are going on. So, Guru Nanak could understand the mindset this man was he was a very rich man, and now, there's rich men who were very pious, good devotees, and there's poor people who are fools. So I'm not picking on rich and poor, I'm just for the example's sake. So this rich man was proud of everything he had, and sure enough, when Guru Nanak could understand, when he finished, Guru Nanak called him over and said, I need your help. And the rich man thought, here we go, I walked right into that one. I knew it was coming, and here it is. Wow. So, all right, what is it? And Guru Nanak said, I have this needle. And the cloth gets torn, you sew it up, So he said, I'm losing it all the time. He said, could you keep this needle for me and give it back to me in your next life? Now, in India, I think you can buy a single needle. But can you buy in America, you have to buy a whole pack. It's such an insignificant thing. You can't even buy a single needle. It's inconsequential. So you can imagine the material value of one needle. And this rich man, to his credit, thought, wait a minute. I can't give a needle back to you in your neck. What? I can't even carry a needle into my next life. And I'm so proud I have this, that, so many, What is the use of all of this stuff? So he became a little humble. So and I think we'll take our break now, but the simple point is, it's not that being humble is an artificial imposition on the mind. When we actually think about it, well, this is off the track, but we'll end with a prophet story, this session. Because what can we... One man said to Prabhupada, we've created life. There's a guy, Stanley Miller, in University of San Diego, UCSD. He's one of the top hard scientists in the world. And his big claim to fame was that he'd created life. What he actually did was he took some simple chemicals, I forget exactly what they were. The primordial soup is what they say. He combined that together and he flashed electricity through it. And it converted from whatever those simple chemicals were to a basic amino acid. Now, from basic amino acids, you can build a protein, and from protein, you can build a cell, and from cells, you can build life. So he's a long way. It's like if I give you, when you put the air in your tires, and there's that little cap that you put on it? I give you the cap and say, here, my friend, it's a Mercedes. So, well, hang on a minute, There's a few steps before I get that brand new Mercedes, So he created a building block of a building block of a building block of the first of a protein that is and the simplest cell, Parmesia, with a simple cell one, That thing is the most efficient energy. It propels itself, as a little flagella that propels it, And there's different types. There's steam engine, there's nuclear, there's, gas. There's all different kinds of engines, combustion engines, this and that. And they measure efficiency by the amount of energy that goes in and the amount of energy it produces. And I forget what it is. Gas combustion is like 20% efficient. You can Google it when you get home, but it's something like that. A steam engine is a little more efficient, maybe close to 30%, This guy, this little one paramecia thing that happened by chance is 90% efficient. It can push itself at like 60 miles an hour cruising down the freeway. I mean, it's an amazingly efficient engine. Oh, and that happened by chance, right? So how did we get off on that? Oh, the Prabhupada. So this man was saying they've created life, Prabhupada said, okay, fine. Take a dead man. Like a car runs out of gas, right? You put gas in it, the car runs. Prabhupada said, take a dead man, take a dead person, put the right chemicals in, bring him back to life. Oh, we can't do that. Prabhupada said, okay, fine. Take a plastic cylinder, make it shaped like an egg, fill it full of chemicals, and sit on it. And see if you can create a chicken, The guy was a little embarrassed. Prabhupada said, okay, fine, can't do that. Prabhupada said, make me a mosquito. Can you make me a mosquito? I mean, mosquitoes, the hovercraft can kick straight up and then go like that, Mosquitoes, up, down, back. I mean, it's a highly, have you ever seen National Geographic, the needle of Schlumberger, those oil guys, they would be hard-pressed to develop a sophisticated drilling system, is what that, mosquitoes got. And Prabhupada points out, you can put two anyway, there's so many. Fine, you made a watch. The universe is just a watch. God wound it up and went away. Deists believe this. So, fine. Make two watches, put them alone in a room, come back a few weeks later. Are there any baby watches? I mean, it's such a bogus comparison. So Prabhupada told this man, first, can you make a man? Well, we can't do that. We made life. Okay, bring a dead man back to life. Prove it. Prove your hypothesis. Well, we can't do that yet. Okay, fine. Then, make me a chicken. Well, we can't do that. Okay, make me a mosquito. Oh, we can't do that. Prabhupada said, can you make me a blade of grass? Make me one blade of grass. Oh, we can't do that. Prabhupada said, can you make me a drop of milk? Well, we can't do that. So the guy progressively became, it's a long story, but one of the devotees in LA, took him to the doctor, he had a problem with his eyes. And he has to use artificial tears. And if you wear contact lenses, sometimes I think people wear, so they put The doctor told me, he said, actually, these tears are not as good as real tears. We can't quite duplicate the viscosity, or that we can't quite get it. You can be sure that scientists around the world in lab coats are working right now on how to make perfect tears, because it's a moneymaker. You build a better tear maker, you'll sell it, So even tears, we just take it for granted. We cannot duplicate. So Prabhupada pointed out, Prabhupada said, you said you created life. I said, think about Krishna. Prabhupada said, think about Krishna who made the cow. The cow takes straw. It's we say with a straw between the teeth. That straw is the most, maybe lower than the straw in the street. Straw is the most insignificant thing possible. Krishna takes straw, and he's designed a cow. Think about it for a minute. And that straw goes into the mouth of a cow, and it comes out the miracle food milk. Now that's mystic power. Prabhupada told the man, said, give your wife straw and see if she can make some milk. So at this time, the guy, that was it. He had nothing to say, And then Prabhupada asked him, just to finish him off, Prabhupada asked him, and what is your field? The man said, biology. Prabhupada said, poor frogs. Because they're always dissecting, I mean, now maybe they can do it by computers, I don't know. But the man was just completely, he had nothing. From his bombastic claim that we've created life to really, it's just smoke and mirrors, So, being humble is not an artificial, well, actually, I'm great, but I'm going to be humble because it's a better way to get along with people. we actually are humble. We're insignificant. We're small, tiny, you know. And what is our big accomplishment? What is, you know? When we, may you all have long lives, you're devotees, it's a different thing. But when they said to Prabhupada, 1973, 72, India was third world at the time, America was first world. Now India is becoming first world, and trust me, America is becoming third world. I live there, I know. So the man said to Prabhupada, what have you come to teach us? What can you're coming from India, poverty-stricken, what can you give to us? We're America. You know, we got it all. And the man actually, he didn't say it, but the message was just go back, do something good for your own country. Prabhupada said and the man said to Prabhupada, the death rate is so high in India. Prabhupada said, death rate's the same everywhere, 100%. So, oh, okay, I never thought of it in that way, you know. But whatever we have is finished at the time of death. When you go into the Vatican Museum, they have an art museum, stuff like that. If you're ever in Rome, it's fun to do. You got a little free time, go to the Vatican Art Museum. And I'll tell you what you'll be greeted by. If it's still there, it was there when I went there. Devotees took me. It was fun, actually. There's a big glass case, and in it is a skull. You know, skull. You seen it? And he's just looking at you. He's not a happy camper. He's looking, you know. Okay, it's a little so. Everybody kind of steps back, and there's a caption underneath it, and it says, "You are what I once was." And you got all these tourists in the short pants, and they got the little tour guide and cameras and snack drinks, and everybody's happy. Whoa! It says, "You are what I once was." And then it says, "I am what you will become." You are what I once was. I am what you will become. It's everybody quiets down. I mean, it's a powerful thing. So we have much to be humble about. Now we're going to talk about the positive sides of humility, but it's the first step in knowledge to recognize our actual position. Vaisheshika Prabhu, I was standing next to him. You know Vaisheshika Prabhu, one of the a certified saintly person. You know, such a blissful person. And so I like to hear how he answers things. You know, I really like to hear how he answers things. So we were at a book table at Laguna Beach Ratha Yatra, and somebody naturally came up and asked, what does Hare Krishna mean? Without missing a beat, he said, it means I need help. Which is a great, you know, Mother Radharani, please give me shelter. You know, I mean, there's an esoteric side of the whole thing, you know, but I need help, you know, and man, that's a great answer, you know. You know, for an American who doesn't know anything, you can start right there. So that humility that, you know, we're not big anything. We should just, okay, that's our first session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, fine. Quick announcement. We have a break for about 10 minutes. When I say 10 minutes, I know you'll come back in 15, so 10 is how we're going to do it. Right? Refreshments are outside. So our suggestion is you start moving now, because if you take 10 minutes to get there, then you need 10 minutes to come back. Just outside.
Actually, I'm taking it.
So see you in 10 minutes, Prabhus.
I should be on.
But
I haven't. No, I did. I see the one little. I don't even know what it is. I see it.